update on Annie Knight.
So I've seen online that someone by the name of Annie Knight are coming to the Gold Coast for schooling.
And Annie Knight are getting deported from Fiji.
Unhinged.
So unhinged.
Hey guys, today we're talking about Annie Knight, who has been labelled Australia's most promiscuous woman.
This shit unhinged?
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Annie Knight Unhinged. I'm joined by Henry once again.
Hello.
Hello.
Friend. Jokes, everyone. We're engaged.
Yeah, we're
Shock.
engaged. We're back from overseas. We've got so much to update you on, but yes, we're engaged. This is the ring.
Well done.
It's a little bit big. I need to get it resized.
Oh,
Sorry.
as in the diamond? Or?
No.
Hey, this guy. This guy.
Yeah, so I guess, what, do we want to talk about what happened?
Oh, the engagement itself straight up?
Yeah, I think we should get that out of the way.
Because it's like all me, really. As in I'm the one that did all the work. Is
Oh.
Because you didn't know until it happened, so it's my story. Okay, so cut a long story short, really. Obviously, we're over there. In the last episode, we touched on having such a cool summer together, and that was genuine. Just so everyone knows, the friendship.
Yeah.
Like we've been best mates for 10 years, so don't disregard anything from that episode.
I think like this is a good point, is that everyone's confused, like, oh, they lied or they had this like secret relationship. We absolutely did not. Like everything we said on that podcast, the last episode, was so true. Like we never lied once. We really only started dating a week prior to the engagement.
Correct.
Which we'll get to, but just to put that out there.
Yes. So, and then we were over there, and to be honest, like I certainly didn't go over there with the mindset to get engaged. There's not one thought prior, which is interesting. And then went to Cancun, went to Vegas, and then went to LA, and we went out for a dinner and had a chat, and we had sporadic chats, sort of like from that previous pod episode, I suppose, to then, just saying that like there's been a narrative amongst our closest friends and family of this, like, you know, you guys are going to end up together, like hurry up and start it sort of thing, which we never bought into. We always knew that we had so much time, and I know that sounds weird to say because it went so quickly, but like that's what I mean. Like we've had so much time to think about this, 10 years almost on and off. Yeah. And then, just spoke to Rach, who's Annie's assistant, and
also a close friend now.
Close friend now, yep. Huge shout out to Rach, and just said, I think I might do it. She thought I was lying the first time. She's like, what are you fucking talking about? And I'm like,
she's like, maybe you should like just try dating.
Yeah, because we had a dinner like a couple of nights prior. I'm like, we should date, hey? And she's like, yeah, let's do that. And then nothing changed. Like the feeling didn't change. Like, which then I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is the same feeling I've had. Like, okay. And then Rach is like, I think, okay, like I said, I think she thought I was lying. Yeah. And then I went and got a ring with her, and we had a big night, and I sort of slipped it to you that I could potentially propose, and you're like, yeah, okay, sweet. Like, that's like, what? And then we're pretty pissed as well.
Also said though, like, oh, it'll happen because we're going away to Vietnam in May. He was like, it'll happen after Vietnam. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
because that's a big event in for Annie's family. Her sister getting what's she doing?
She's graduating.
Getting a degree, so. Anyway, so then so at that point, I'm sure Annie was wigging out a bit, and then we went out to this dinner, and she had absolutely no idea. Where was it again?
We were at Spargo in Beverly Hills.
Right.
Quickly, going back, where'd you get the ring from?
Jeweler?
Like, were you overseas, obviously?
Yeah, sorry, I got the ring.
You didn't plan it.
No,
so
yes, good point.
He
Good
got
point.
it in
I
LA.
did. I got it in
with
LA.
Rach.
So like literally Google nearest ring finder. I had no idea.
It's an alleyway.
Yeah. I was like, Rachel, what do we do here? Like, so we got Annie went and did a few bits and pieces. So we did it very sly.
Yeah.
But then went to this dinner where Annie would have had absolutely no idea. And I told the maitre d', I guess, and she's like, what? Why didn't you tell us beforehand? It's like, because I just found out that I'm going to do it, right? Like, I don't need any added stress as to why I'm getting engaged today, okay? Like, just bring out a bottle of Dom, bring out and put the ring in the pudding, like, talk to the chef. I'm like, listen here, chef, like, I've had a look at this dessert menu, and I need to put either the ring in something, or can you do something for me? He's like, leave it with me. This Italian bloke is like, leave it with me. So it was all set up, and then Rach said that I seemed a bit on edge all that whole night, but I felt fine.
No, you said I had no clue. So I actually put up a vlog on my Instagram. So if you want to go watch that, you can. But like watching it back, I was like, I'm so dumb. Like the signs were there, but like I was completely oblivious. Yeah. Like Henry literally got up like 6 times, and then like
with no excuse.
No excuse.
Well.
There was one clip in the vlog where he's like, I'm just gonna get up for a second.
I think I said I'm just going to have a look around this corner. Like
Like he didn't say he was going to the toilet or anything. He was just like, I'm getting up and
Yeah,
leaving. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay. Anyway, they just ironed our table.
yeah, that's right. And we were pretty pissed by that point too. Like, they had some mean cocktails. So that whole liquid like Harry Potter reference, Dutch courage. Sorry, everyone, but not sorry at the same time. And then got down on my knee. And then,
Wait. So when he went to the chef or whatever, the chef was like, "What should I put on it? Like, will you marry me or whatever?" And he's like, "No, just say yes."
Oh yeah. Because at that
I'm
point,
so glad
correct.
that he didn't put that on because I would have been like, so to what?
Yeah. I did say that. That's true. That was an option. I was, again, quite pissed when I went to the chef too. Like, who asks a 5-star chef for anything? He's like, "What do you want, mate?" Like, some Aussie asking me questions about the dessert menu. It's like, no ring in it. Like, anyway,
So in a dessert.
No,
like
it
a
was
chalky thing.
It was on a plate, like propped up in like I don't know what it was, sugar or something, with like little chocolates around it, and then the chocolate sign said, "Will you marry me?"
Yeah. And then that was a pretty wild moment. You sort of don't know until that happens. And then you get this really, Jackie Bryan will love this, very electric feeling that is it's very hard to explain, to be honest, not to get all mushy, but it's that's when you know. Like, because a lot of people are like, how did you know? Like, so quick. It's like, I actually didn't until you get down. And then it's like, get down. and I was like, yeah, it was crazy. And then Annie cried, and then Rachel cried, and then I think like the whole staff are crying, and then a bottle of Dom comes out, which always helps.
And then
I was
and
like,
he's
Annie's paying for that.
He's like,
that's what I said to the guy. I'm like, bring out and look at this Dom Perignon list, and there's like 7 of them. One of them's $4,000. One of
he
them's
was like, that was $4,000, and I was like.
at that time you're like, I don't care, like I'm engaged.
And then he was like, no, I'm just kidding, it was 400. And I was like,
yeah, it was the cheapest bottle of Dom, everyone. So don't like, I'm not that, you know. So yeah, it was a beautiful night. We got home, got hammered, and it was beautiful. Yeah, like it's one of those ones where you could have planned it when the family was there.
He like got down on his knee, and he was like, "Will you let me be your silly motherfucker?"
Silly
Forever.
motherfucker. How about that, guys? You had a whole lifetime to think about what you say to the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you say some shit about yourself being a silly motherfucker. It's like, yeah, well, okay, like don't be silly for the rest.
And then
of
he's
your life,
like, "Wait," and then you were like, "Oh no," and then I was like, "Oh yes." I think I said yes with like a question mark.
Yeah. And then maybe you had to take a few takes to the chocolates, like silly motherfucker, chocolate says marry me. You're like, okay, done. She's got autism, in case everyone didn't know. So I had to make it real visual for her. Like there was like the literal there, the physical. It's like, now Annie, what do these mean? Marriage.
And then I looked around and all the staff were standing watching
Yeah,
us, and I'm like, what?
So yeah, beautiful, very real. Just obviously needs to be said flat out, very real. Everyone, my God.
Yeah, that's another thing we need to talk about.
I get it to a degree, because obviously there's an episode not too long ago, not that everyone listens to this show, but that we said we're mates. Yeah. But we've been mates for 10 years. That's absolutely true. And it's obviously not a generic love story. It's not like like we've been dating since school, and it's cool, it's different, but it's very real.
I think it is real, because a lot of people think that it's a publicity stunt,
which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, and I understand, because people in the industry do stuff like that. And yeah, I can understand why people would think that, but it's not. I've got a ring. I'm planning a wedding. It's going to be very expensive, so it's very fucking real.
Yeah, like engagement party on the way. Like,
yeah,
I'm hoping that within the next 2 years it'll become more obvious. I guess. Like I guess. It's pretty wild out there so far. Like the media attention on the way back from being overseas has been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't completely knock the whole narrative, and but you sort of let sleeping dogs lie. Well, that's how I'm feeling about the whole situation. And then all we do is just we enjoy it as much as we can. Keep on planning little bits and pieces. Like having dinner with your mum was beautiful. Like, and then the more little bits and pieces that you do, it just becomes more real, and confirms what we're doing, because it was very hard initially coming back, to be fair, to feel how you should feel during an engagement period because of all that whirlwind.
I think it's like it's been fine for me in a weird way, as in I'm we were both incredibly happy, right? For the first week we're overseas, we're having a great time.
1 week of happiness.
And then we get back, and sort of reality hits, where there are all these news articles, slamming Henry. There's comments, his comment section we had to turn off because people were just being so fucked.
A lot of colourful language.
Yeah, we saw things we've never seen before.
Crazy.
And so to go from that sort of high to that low, and then to still, you just kind of get confused because you're like, well, we're still happy, but like we're being told we shouldn't be, and
it was difficult.
Anyway, so yeah,
just finding our feet. To be completely honest, like and to my friends' defense, everyone was messaging because a lot of them found out from publicity before I had a chance to tell all my friends, which is obviously the reverse to how it usually goes. So I can completely understand why there's a lot of panic, a lot of chaos, and it took a lot of phone calls, a lot of conversations, a lot of voice memos to a lot of people. So apologies to a lot of people that had to find out that way. That certainly wasn't my intention. And to be completely honest, I was very naive as to how it would pan out.
Here's the thing. Once it had happened, I was like, well, let's just like keep it like intimate for now and like try and enjoy this moment. And like, I wasn't going to post it to my main account for a little while. I was going to give us time to just, enjoy it ourselves. Daily Mail had an article out within 2 hours, and I have no idea how the flying fuck. I'm like, did the waiter tell them what's going on? It was insane. Like, thank God I'd called all my family and friends that needed to know before that went live, because otherwise that would have been insane. So yeah, it's been like an interesting time, but mostly happy, and we're really excited.
Yeah, super excited, and yeah, like I said, it's not without its challenges. It's not generic. It's a very interesting love story, and it's not one that people are used to. So I understand that it takes a while for people to wrap their head around, and I'm willing to give everyone as much time as they need. But I know, like, all that really matters is that we know, and we do. But yeah, it's been hard, but it was good, beautiful.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about a reel that was made by a guy named Ryan Pownell, who is
my boy,
the podcast host of Pillow Talk. So basically, to cut a long story short, although it's probably going to be long, went to Cancun for spring break, which we'll get to in a minute. Had a great time. Bonnie Blue flew Ryan out to do like an episode over there because it was crazy and it was good content. That was the first time I'd met Ryan. He was great, lovely guy, got along like a house on fire. Very flirtatious, whatever. We had a great time.
You said he was very similar to me, but like 10 times more.
So yeah, Henry's like super extroverted, but like Ryan was like Henry on steroids.
Crazy. I was like, surely not. And then I met this guy. I was like,
yeah,
wow. And he's American, so it's just like,
no, he's Canadian.
Well, fuck.
Anyway, great guy, great time, whatever. Then we get to LA. Basically, I'm going to jump forward first. So an article came out with the Herald Sun, and Ryan made a reel basically saying that we went on a date and brought Henry on our date, and then we were kissing all night in front of Henry, and then what else? That we left or whatever.
We're basically like just making it out as though there was a legitimate date there with a purpose of, I don't know, like sexual intent, I guess. And then that I went down on one knee the next day, basically.
Yeah, that's what that, yeah. So then he was like, so that happened, and then he was saying 48 hours later, I'm engaged to be wed or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to clear this up because that's not what happened. I went back to LA. Ryan lives in LA. And then he was messaging me. We were messaging. And he was like, let's go get dinner on Friday night. And he was initially like, it'll just be us two. And I was like, oh, can I bring at least my assistant, Rachel? And then she was like, yeah, okay, I'll bring a friend too. So then there was 4 of us. And then he messaged me the day of and was like, oh, actually, I'm going to bring two of my other friends as well. And so I was like, and there were girls. And so I was like, okay, well, at this point, I'm bringing Henry then, because that's 5 people coming, like, you know what I mean? Invited Henry. He was kind of like, no, Henry can't come. Like, I don't know if he was joking. I don't know. Anyway, and then eventually, said yes to Henry coming, and there were 6 of us at the dinner, and it was very much like a friend catch up. Although he was being very touchy-feely, Henry and I had a conversation beforehand about the fact that he was likely to be like that, and that, it was fine. Like, I wasn't going home with him. It wasn't anything like that. It's not a big deal.
Plus, I'd spent a bit of time with him in Cancun. I've sized him up pretty quick, and I'm like, for this dinner to go well with no problems, I know like what's going on. We knew what was going on. There was never going to go, anything was going to happen past that dinner, and we're at a dinner table, so what can happen at a dinner table as well. So there was 6 of us, and then 6 of us went into an Uber, and then 6 of us went to a club, and then we left. So it's like the narrative was like, oh my God, man, like, after we went on a date, it's like
So there was definitely some mayo put on it for sure. But like,
Cupid.
I just wanted to clear it up because Ryan and I don't have any bad blood. Like, it wasn't.
No.
He actually gave me the heads up about the video and was like, I'm posting this video. I was like, haha, that's really funny. Like, post it. And then he posted it. He's like, what do you think? I'm like, yeah, hilarious, whatever. Like, it was fine. Like, I don't care. I understand that, like, he has to make these interesting reels and TikToks and stuff like that and put a bit of mail. It doesn't bother me. I mean, like, I totally get it. That's part of.
But it was more so for me because it made me look stupid.
Well, and in the end, once the Herald Sun released the article, it made me look. And I think people thought that what Ryan was saying was true. So there were people in the comment section saying like, "Oh no, you've really won," and all this stuff. It's like I didn't want them to think that I'm like a shit person or anything like that. It wasn't like that at all.
Yep.
So I just wanted to clear that up. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I put up a TikTok, I guess, about the engagement, talking about it a little bit, and all these girls started commenting, being like, well, I saw Henry in January. And then another one would respond, I saw Henry in December or something like that. And I'm like, do you guys even watch the fucking video? Like, have I not said that Henry and I have very open, clear communication? I know about the girls that he's seen in the past few months. I know about that. We only started dating whilst we were overseas. And
we were best mates up to that point.
Yeah.
So when I was seeing X, Y, and Z person, like I'd call my best mate like, hey, I went on a date with this person again, or like, so everything that would happen normally in your life with a best mate and any dating as well, like in that space.
Exactly.
And so like, I know I can understand again how it all looks crazy, and this is why I give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if you think about it, it's like, yeah, then an engagement happens within 4 days of dating. It's like, obviously, for them, like their mind would race, and I get that.
They would start thinking, oh, well, they've actually been dating for longer and she mustn't have known and all this stuff.
Yeah, I get it. And it sucks, and I'm sorry if it upset anyone because it would suck, I guess. Like the way that Annie talked, because I don't look at Annie's content, I look at the comments, but the way that I felt bad when I read them. So it wasn't my intention, and it wasn't, it's just, it's wild. The whole thing's wild.
Yeah, I just think, I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's like, I responded to one of them and was like, I know, like we've only been together for like a week, like relax.
Yeah, I know.
And then they keep coming and they keep fighting, and it's like, just let me have my happiness. Stop trying to steal this moment from me.
But again, I think it all just boils down to the spontaneity of it, and at that time, I like probably was still speaking to one of them, like, you know what I mean? Like I hadn't spoken since I'd been away, but like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's sort of like, it's all pretty wild. So
yeah. So please stop commenting. Okay, so everyone's been asking about like details about the wedding. Obviously, it's only been 2 weeks since we got engaged?
It feels like 7 years.
No, wait. Shut up. Yeah, 2 weeks. A week and a bit, I think, actually. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, but I'm a quick planner. So like day 3, I was like, my spreadsheet was out. I was doing my little Googling.
It was crazy.
Anyway, so we've picked a venue. Well, we haven't 100% locked it in yet. We are going
to walk through tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got to walk through tomorrow, talk to them. I'm like 99% sure that we're going to pick that venue. It's in Gold Coast, and it's beautiful. Yep. And what else was I going to say?
Engagement parties in Melbourne.
Engagement parties in Melbourne in like a month.
Because that's where most of our friends are. I've got like the biggest soft spot for Melbourne. It's, like we're all, well, I suppose 80% of our friends are as well. There's just a lot of love down there. So,
and then
we'll be down there next month.
Yeah, where people are like, is it going to be like a shotgun wedding if it's a shotgun engagement? It's like, no.
No way.
We're getting married at the second half of next year, towards the end of the year.
We just started dating, guys.
Give us a second.
What the fuck? Shotgun engagement? Like, what more do you want from me? Like, 1 minute, it's like, how dare you do this? But it's like, but it's going to be a shotgun wedding? It's like, let me date this woman as an engaged partner for like a year.
A year and a half?
Yeah, a year and a half. And then I'll get married. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, and obviously in that time, in the next, for however long, I'm still working and I'll still be traveling a little bit.
I'm still working too, guys.
Yeah, he's got a job.
I've got a job, everyone. FIFO.
People are
in
like,
the desert.
I was actually getting messages basically insinuating that you're retiring now and you're just going to be a stay-at-home dad and all.
Would love to. But no, I build highways in the desert and I love it. So I'll be, it's flooded, the desert at the moment.
Yeah, he will be home for the next 2 months.
Coincidentally, I will be at home for a bit. Not because I want to be, it's because
Hey.
nature put it that way. But I do work away, and I'm going to continue to do that also.
Yes.
And FIFO's good with this whole situation because everything is so new, and it's a good opportunity to spend a bit of time away from each other.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time together. And when it is so new, when I've only just moved up here, and it's just good for the dynamic.
That being said, I actually want to touch on this because I want to make this more normal. So Henry and I love sleeping in our own beds.
Yeah.
So we have separate rooms.
Yep. Off the cuff. And it is so good.
It is so good because I hate sleeping. Don't get me wrong. Every once in a while, we'll sleep in the same bed and it's fine. It's great. We love it. But shut the fuck up.
Nah, it's sick. Well, there's a dog and Annie's got fucking earmuffs in, and then the ocean is in the room so loud.
I have my white
and then
noise.
I've got my rain noises. So I got half the rain, half the ocean, a dog, and then Annie's fucking. Oh, the whole thing's pretty wild, to be honest.
Anyway,
Sorry, but hey, it's gonna be the best ever for the rest of my life.
we're people always say oh, if you start sleeping in separate rooms, that's
the end.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
what if we start by sleeping?
Yeah, let's flip the script. But I think that's so cool. And Annie's routine, I think we might have spoken about this in the previous episode. Annie's routine is so different to mine. And usually, let's say I am at work and I've just come home for the week for 2 weeks on, 1 week off. I appreciate getting up a bit slower throughout that week because I'm used to getting up at 4 a.m. or night shift or whatever. So Annie does her thing at 5. I'll get up at 9, 10, and it just works better that way. And it's cool.
Yeah. And it's nice
absolutely, let's normalize it. Let's make a movement. Seriously.
You get to have really good sleep without someone snoring right next to you
Correct.
all night.
And I even said to Annie last night, I popped into her room before she went to bed. I'm like, do you ever feel like you don't know what to say to each other first thing in the morning? I was I had so much anxiety.
Autistic.
I had so much anxiety the next morning. I'm I hear Annie getting up and I'm like,
He
say?
always messages me and he's like, so have you left the house yet?
yeah, because I don't want to start my shit until she's gone.
He wants me out of the house so he can wake up, get around, and then when I get home, he'll greet me. He doesn't want me to be there when he wakes up.
That's how much autism's in the house, A. And B, I really am not a morning person and I don't want to get that shit to rub off on her shit. So I'm in my room, on my phone, right, she's out there. I know she's in the kitchen. She might be facing the fridge. So now's my time to go into the bathroom where she won't see me. And then when I get out, I might be with my tail. This is how much thought goes into it. I'll be hey, and then I'll come back out in my footy shorts and
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get the morning thing.
So imagine if we were in the same room. Fuck that.
Yeah, no. So
Couldn't do it.
every time I have been in the same room as in woken up with him, you can't talk to him for 4 hours. Confirmed. Don't talk to him for 4 hours because he's gonna give you nothing.
But at least that's off the cuff.
No,
These
I
are
know.
these things where, you say, if you start off in this honeymoon phase where you're all over each other and blah blah blah, and then it starts going like this, everyone wigs out, and then it's if you start off, hey, this is the space that we always
had
10 years of it, and that's my little mounted argument for this whole engagement. It's the things that you find out in the first 4 years of a relationship, we've been doing since day one.
We know
So it's
more about each other than we know about ourselves.
So much of the shit is cut out already. That's why the decision was so easy. And it's why the transition's been so, I was about to say so smooth. It hasn't been entirely smooth, but for us, it has been. It's business as usual. We feel amazing because we're engaged, but really there's no difference. And that solidifies the decision that I made to go down on my knee. It's when you come home and it isn't so different. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah.
For sure. Now, I want to get into our travels.
Yes.
Starting with actually, first of all, I'll talk about Dubai because I went to Dubai first without you and Rach. Went over there, filmed for OFTV, which I think I spoke about on last week's episode because I was there with Mum at that episode. But yeah, so that was great. That was so much fun. I think the episode's almost completely done now, so I'm not sure when they're coming out. Hopefully in the next month or two.
Yep.
But yeah, it was such a cool experience. The crew that we were working with, there was, I think, only 4 of them there, and they were just the nicest people ever. So down to earth, so down to earth. Sorry, so easy to work with. And then I left there after a week. Mum went back to Vietnam, and then I went to Cancun, and I had a 24-hour journey there.
Yep.
And then I met with Rach and Henry, and they'd been
in transit ourselves, 18 hours or something?
Something like that,
16?
Yeah.
16 to LA, 4 to Cancun. So 20 all up.
And the first night we were like, oh, we'll just have a few drinks at dinner.
Dude, that Friday night fever shit, hey.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But I'm like, does that happen globally? Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Like, absolutely.
can
Like
confirm.
24 hours worth of travel, literally wanted to neck.
We're so
and it's like,
exhausted. I was like, I'm going to go to bed, obviously. And then we're like, let's go to dinner.
It's like,
you just
let's
find
just
this
have
like
one
second
beer,
wind or something.
Yeah, like one little drink.
And then you get out there and you see the ocean. You're like,
5
oh my
a.m.
God, yeah.
5 a.m. 6 a.m. I think. Actually, all-nighter, was it not?
God.
That's when I took the naked photo on the balcony. It was it was an all-nighter.
Yeah.
My ass was out at 7 a.m. from the night before. Like that's where we're at. So, but I think that's a nice thing.
Anyway, and then I slept.
right.
I slept for 24 hours. Got up and then got into the content. So we met up with Bonnie that day. We went to the Grand Oasis, which was where like all the party stuff was, and she brought her bodyguard / videographer Josh, and also another content creator called Kelly, who helped her there. I think she was there during her 1,057 man challenge back in January. So Kelly was there with Bonnie. Anyway, lovely girl. And then we filmed a bunch of content together, but most of the time, like during the day, we'd go out by the pools and stuff like that. And I remember we were in the room before we went out the first day, and Bonnie and I were like, fuck, like what if no one knows who we are? This is going to be so embarrassing if like we walk, because we had all this idea of all the content we wanted to get. We're like, if no one knows who we are, then this is going to be so awkward and embarrassing and we're not going to get any content. Walk outside, I swear to God,
Minute, bang.
10 meters, completely surrounded by 300 college boys, asking for photos and like
Alpha Beta boys.
pouring shots in our mouths and then
there.
us spitting shots into their mouths and all that kind of thing, and asking for topless photos. Like it was wild, but so much fun. And then in the afternoons usually would go and film, with people. It was actually a really good system because Rach was there and guys would come up and be like, can I film with you? And Rach would like take their details down and then would put them in a time slot, and it was all very like really organized. And then we did that for basically would have been like 5 days. And then
I loved it because I wasn't a part. I didn't go to any of those things, but I would get the message from Annie at like 2 or 3, be like, right, I need this ordered from room service, this, and I need a bottle of this, like depending on how well the day went. And then when she came in, I'd be half cut anyway. Like I'd just be like in my undies all day sinking beers, and then they'd come back and be like, "How's your day?" I was like, "Here's your wrap that you wanted," like or whatever. So it was really cool. Like I didn't have to do any of the work, so I feel a bit guilty about that. Like they came back and pooped. And I'm just like,
we were so exhausted. Right, like
pissed.
Rach did such a good job as well. She basically videoed the whole day on my vlogging camera and then on my phone as well. And then also had to schedule in all these guys and do all the consent forms for OnlyFans and Fansly. Like couldn't have done it without her.
Shout out Rach.
Shout out to Rach. But it was so much fun. We got so much good content. I actually think I'm going to start doing things like this more often. I really want to start doing more international trips. I'm thinking of maybe doing Ibiza, however you want to say it, in July, August, and Mykonos and, all the party places. So that's going to be fun.
And the first thing I said when I got back is like, I don't think I can do that again.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I said that?
You said that before we got back.
Yeah. I was like, with the utmost respect, the hustle that Annie and Rach had was just crazy because we're all drinking piss every night. So I got to just do the lazy
Not every
thing.
night.
Right. Well, yeah. But during the day, I could do the lazy thing, but you guys would be on the grind. And I'm just like, and I'm also not a seasoned traveler. And I found out from this trip that I'm a homebody through and through. I was like, get me back to Australia.
Yeah.
So I certainly won't be going on those expeditions purely because it's just madness and I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. I love it. I love the hustle.
It's cool. And then I fanboyed hard. Gonna meet Bonnie Blue, right? This is the worst story.
Oh, this is so funny.
So I was like, dude, Bonnie
Bonnie
Blue
listens
told the
to
boys, I'm like, this chick's famous as credit where credit's due. Shagging 1,000 blokes is insane. Fuck my God. Anyway, get there and fold. Pretty much.
He fully choked it. I've never seen Henry choke ever. This man is the most outgoing, extroverted guy, and I watched it happen, and I literally looked at him like, what the fuck just happened?
Dude,
because also the other thing is Bonnie is the most down to earth, normal, so funny, so lovely, and I was like, I've been telling Henry all about her for so long, and just literally went.
She in a beautiful posh little accent. She's like, "Oh, you've been unwell for a couple of days," and I was like,
Yeah.
Yes, I guess. Not in a cream your pants sort of way, but it's just I don't know what happened. It's like you'd met a hero you didn't think was a hero. Really, I was like, fucking hell. And then all of her mates, and everyone's just been so normal. And I don't actually meet a lot of people from Annie's industry, to be fair. And yeah, I went to water. So and then that happened the second time.
And then he did.
The second night.
We went out to like Coco Bongo or something. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, no, we were at the day party. And the same thing happened again where she was like, "Oh, you feeling better?" And he's like, "Yeah." Like,
yeah, sorry, I need to go and drown in the ocean quickly. Like, it was so... Bonnie, I'm sorry. And
like,
Australia, I'm sorry. I know, like, I was representing Australia, meeting Bonnie Blue.
Oh my God, dude.
I just struggled.
So funny. I was like, oh my God, Bonnie probably thinks I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah.
For having a friend who's...
Yeah. And
like,
you probably
mute.
mentioned me a few times too. And,
Yeah, of course.
And now I'm engaged to you. She's probably
like,
good luck with that shit. That guy sucked. Like, oh God. Anyway, she's a very lovely girl though, Bonnie Blue. Just for those who want to know, beautiful girl.
Yeah, we
very,
had
very
such
lovely.
a great time as well. Like it was.
The team's great.
Yeah,
and
everyone.
The parties we were involved with cool chick.
Yeah, very cool.
Vegas, baby. I did it. And I did the most stereotypical bloke Australian thing you can
tell
do.
The story.
Yeah, you can, but
I
like
need to tell
Vegas,
the story.
baby.
Wait, can I tell the whole story?
Oh, yeah, you can. Like, I went missing for a bit.
No, you didn't. No. So
I don't know what
Henry
happened.
mentally gone.
Vegas swallowed me up.
Let me tell you. Okay, get to Vegas. Henry's grumpy. I think we might have had a bit of a disagreement earlier in the day or something. Worked very, very hard, even put my ego aside for a bit and admitted defeat over things that I still think that I was in the right for.
It was about sleeping in a different bed initially.
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing. He wanted to sleep in the bed with me. And I was like, no, because you keep me awake at night. And then he cracked the shits because I didn't want to sleep in a bed with him.
It was the previous place I was in a trundle for the whole time. So I'm like, all right, I might want some king size action in Vegas. Anyway, so that's how little and petty, that's where we were at. So you start from there and then continue.
Anyway, so then I almost cried and was like, please come to dinner. It's our only night in Vegas. Like, I want you to be there. Like, did that whole speech.
Oh, because I was puppy dogging the window looking out, like, I'm not coming.
He was like, no, like I've dug my heels in too much now and I can't come.
I'm embarrassed. And you know, when you go too far one way, you just can't. I don't know if it's a bloke thing. I'm like, no, it just seems stupid now. Like, if you really want me to go. And she's like, Henry, just fucking come on. Like, he'd do a shot or something. So we did.
And so anyway, and then I was all excited because coming to dinner. Went out to dinner at Catch in one of the big casinos. Great place, by the way. We had an excellent dinner. Henry said it's the best food he's ever had.
was in or something, wasn't it? One of the major casinos?
I think it was called Aria. Anyway, we great dinner. Everything was all good. We're like, okay, let's go back to the room. We'll get changed into more comfy clothes and then go to the casino at our hotel, which was the Venetian. So did that, went out, started walking around the casino, and I think we might have just been like sitting at one of those, what's it called? What are the
roulette tables?
Roulette tables. I was doing that for a while.
I remember everything.
No, you don't.
Well.
Went to go get a drink. Oh, that's right. Got a drink, put it down on the pokies, and then we're like to Henry, okay, we're going to go to the toilet really, really quickly. We'll be right back. Stay here. He was on the pokey machine, right? He just put in $25. We had this like thing where we had like $600 all together and we were going to do $200 each on things and try and... Yeah. Anyway, it was like a little challenge for us. Anyway, we go to the toilet, 5 minutes, come back out. And I'm like, Henry, why is there $100 on this machine? You said you just put in 25. And he was like, oh no, I can't even tell the story with a straight face. My friends... I can't. My friends, where did they go? Oh, well, no. There were guys here just before and they put it in. And I was like, Henry, we've been gone for 5 minutes. There's no one here. I'm like looking around. I'm like, what are you talking about? Anyway, at that point I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, whatever. I don't even care. Rach was a little bit like, the fuck? And I was like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Went back to the roulette table.
The fuck?
The fuck? Chilling there for a little bit, doing whatever we are, betting, whatever. Henry gets up and he's like, okay, I'm going to go get everyone a drink. What does everyone want? We're like, great. This is great. He's been good. He went off, came back and he's like, guys, I just won $1,000 on the pokies machine.
Sick.
And I was like...
This sounds like I'm a hero, by the way. Where's the shit part of this story? I'm a legend. Disappears, comes back with $1,000 and drinks.
No drinks. He didn't have the drinks. He didn't get the drinks. That's the funniest bit about it. We were like, where's our drinks? He's like, but I just won $1,000. I'm like, give me the money, let me count it. Counted it, $300.
Sick.
So not only had he not won $1,000, he'd actually lost us $200.
Yes.
So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, right, sit down, like, shut up, go, whatever. Anyway, then we went and got drinks and he's like, what did you say? You were like, where did all our friends go? And I was like, what friends? He's like, mate, are you seriously going to you going to gaslight me right now? And like, oh, you know when you look in someone's eyes and you're like, they're not home. Like the lights are on, but no one is home. Like Henry was not present.
Vegas had taken me at that point.
And he kept like 6 times throughout the night, he kept being like, we'd have the same discussion that went for 5 minutes, which he would start being like, you gaslighting me? No, Annie, we were with 7 friends. Tell me their names. Like, I've got video footage of it. It's
I don't
so
want
funny.
to say it. I don't want to say it, honestly.
Anyway, he did it 6 times, and then I'd like convince him, and he'd be like, huh, yeah, nah. And then he'd like kind of, he'd almost like act like he was just joking or something. But it kept happening throughout the night, and then it got to the point where we were leaving on our way out, and he did it like the worst he'd done it since we got there, to the point where he was like trying to storm off and like run away back into the casino and was like fully like getting angry at me and stuff. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, and then there's AFL footy on at the time, and I was like, I'm going to go to a bar and watch that. And I remember bits and pieces.
And then he came back the next day, and he didn't remember. Like, no, actually, you went to sleep first, then you came to. I told you the story about what happened and how crazy you were. You went back to sleep, woke up again. Had to tell you it again because you didn't remember. Yeah. That's when you went and watched the footy, came back, I was asleep. The next day woke up and you're like, yeah, I want to watch the footy with like a bunch of my friends.
Those mates.
I was like, there were no friends.
Look, there is footage of the discussions we've had, but there is no evidence of whether or not there were friends or if there weren't. Okay, I went away and you never saw me with people or without people.
No, Henry, you never left us. You never left us. There was 5 minutes unaccounted for, and that was when we went to the toilet.
I want to see the casino.
And then I refused because he kept trying to run away as well. Like we'd be standing at the bar, and all of a sudden Henry would just get up and walk away. He'd be halfway down the casino, and Rachel would be like, "Holy shit, that's Henry!" And I'd be like, "Go chase him! Like go get him!"
Yeah, because obviously Vegas for a 28-year-old man from Australia is a playground. So I obviously was just like, you know, everything about it had like vaping inside, like all of it.
Yeah, you could vape and smoke inside. It was crazy. Anyway, it was very fun. Like, it wasn't funny at the time. I think I cried because I was so scared. I was like, he's having an aneurysm or a stroke or something. Yeah. But then it was funny after.
Yeah, wouldn't go back though. Like actually,
because you don't remember it.
No, I do. But I just like I think it's one of those things where you go for the nostalgia of it. It's like, oh my God, Vegas, but like really it's a lot.
Rach and I went for a walk, which we love to keep saying this. We had our best time in Vegas was when Rach and I went for a walk without Henry during the day and went and saw all the sights and all that kind of thing.
Yep.
But again, like probably
with my mates.
Probably
at the casino still.
Same as Henry, though. Probably wouldn't go back. Like really, there's all you can do is be at the casino.
That's right, because the way to our Australian listeners, and it's like Crown Casino in Melbourne. I'm like, how often do you go there a year? Maybe once or twice, and how often do you stay there? So it's like that, but that's all, everything is in a casino. So it's like if you're into that sort of thing, which like if you and I will say that if it was a boys' trip, I think it'd be different. Yeah. Obviously, going to Vegas with 2 chicks sucks. Don't even.
Well, actually, you were the party.
I know. I'm joking.
Rach and I wanted to go out, and then I got cut short because we had to look after this idiot.
I do apologize. I did. It was my worst efforts in Vegas, but wouldn't go back.
Yeah, no.
2 chicks. Kidding. Anyway, what's next? LA marriage ring. How good's that? Moving on.
Anyway, get to LA.
Yeah.
I'm sick at this point, by the way.
So sick.
I got sick and I was like having issues, actually just touching on this, like randomly, I think I got my period like 3 times while we were away. It was really weird. Don't know what's going on there. I'm looking into it. But like, so I was in a bad way, like endometriosis pain, had a cold, arrived in LA. Thank God we had a day to chill. And then another day to sort of wander around. And
LA Marathon was on, so we couldn't get to our Airbnb.
Oh my God.
And you had to walk your 2,000 kilo suitcases up a hill with this big. I was behind her laughing my ass off.
No, this is a good story.
No, it's not. Makes me look bad. Can we tell a story that look good? So many bad stories about me overseas.
We arrived in LA and I had no idea it was the LA Marathon. Arrived at like 6 a.m. Had to use it like a day stay hotel during the day because our hotel wasn't ready. Believe it or not, that day stay hotel was within like a 4-kilometer radius where all roads were closed. Yeah. So we couldn't get an Uber there. We had to walk our suitcases like 2 kilometers. I had 2 suitcases and a big like carry-on 20-kilogram bag. Henry had one like 20-kilogram suitcase. He's like 50 meters ahead of me, just like going on about his day. And I'm pushing 80 or 100 kilograms
Honestly, 100 kilos worth of shit
up a hill. Yep. And I'm like, at this point, raging. And Rage keeps trying to make subtle hints like, you know what would be so good? If I had a boyfriend here in LA to help me with this.
We weren't actually boyfriends at that stage.
No, we weren't. But like,
Friends. But if we were dating, I would have. But we were mates at that point, so fuck.
Also, yeah, I don't know. Henry was in like a bit of a shit mood that day.
Again, not a seasoned traveller. I'm starting to feel it at this point, you know.
Anyway, so yeah, but that was a big ordeal.
No, the best thing about it is we went past cops, and the cops said to me, "Hey,
No.
son, you
No.
want to maybe get that girl's bag?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Like, what? It's like, because I look like a pussy with my little bag, and Annie's literally had like.
He's like, "Hey, mate, you should help her with her bag."
And I was like,
and he just looked at him like,
no way. I was loving it. And at that point, going back to that whole like when you've stood your ground with the
have to
process
dig
from the
in.
start, I'm like, now I'm just gonna have to go back at
Wait.
heaps and watch her and laugh, or go in front and laugh. And
how's this though? So we get to this cafe, which is like halfway, and I'm like, okay, Annie, calm down. Just ask him what he wants for breakfast, and like, just don't make a big deal out of it.
Yes.
So I'm like, what do you want for breakfast? And you're like, yeah, I'll have the eggs and the coffee.
Yeah, nice.
Puts the menu down. I go and pay for everything. Come back. No, thank you.
Look, okay, I am probably not the best person to go overseas with, is the conclusion, unless you want to get sporadically engaged.
And at this point,
then
I'm
your
like,
guy.
there's like steam coming out of my ears. I'm sitting at breakfast, like staring at him with like
Anyway,
daggers.
cut a long story short with how bad I've been overseas. There was a point where we had a dinner. We're like, okay, we've been spiraling for a couple of days now. Let's have a dinner and a chat. And that's when we started dating. So like for all blokes out there that's thinking about a best friend and turning it into like a potential wife, like be in a downward spiral, hit rock bottom, go out to a dinner, ask her to date, and then ask her to marry you 2 days later, and then everything will be fine.
To be fair, at that dinner where he asked
Suddenly,
me to,
best holiday she's ever had.
when he asked to date me, I was like, after how you've been acting.
Yeah.
But we had a huge conversation which lasted like 10 hours or something talking about it.
And I think in the middle of that dinner, you were yelling at me about something. I think I just grabbed your face and kissed you at one point, like just over the dessert. And then you're like, okay, like another little trick. Like if they're shouting, just kiss them.
They're just such bad pieces of
I
advice.
know, sorry.
Anyway, the Wednesday
But
that
just
we
spending the rest of your life with someone like that. Who's the real idiot here? She is. You could have said no. I'm kidding.
Imagine. Anyway, 4 days into the trip, I have Plug Talk, which is this massive US OnlyFans podcast hosted by Adam22 and Lena the Plug. And they're married, and yeah, basically they have guests on. They talk to them for 20 minutes, and then they film a scene together for OnlyFans. So did that. Was so excited for that for so long. But that day, I woke up and I was in so much pain, like the worst pain of the trip. I think I took 3 codeines that day, and I still was in like agony. Filmed the scene, powered through, still obviously had a great time. And then that night we went to dinner in the Hollywood Hills. We went to Yamashiro.
Which was sick.
It was really cool.
Sick view. The food in LA is great. Everywhere we went was pretty
Well,
good, I thought.
it was good because we went to really expensive, fancy places.
A lot of Japanese though.
Yeah.
So much Japanese.
But
Too much Japanese. Right?
It was a lot of Japanese.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
But I would say, like, generally speaking, the food that I've had in LA in the past hasn't been good. So just because we went to nice places.
When you go with your mum, shitty places, with your friends.
No,
good
we
places.
went to Spargo with mum.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, and then what else did we do?
Comedy store, dude.
Oh yeah, we went to Universal
Dude.
and then
Yes.
the comedy store.
Fucking
Who was on?
Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee.
He was really, really funny.
Mate, I'm not kidding. That's like the apex of my entire
There
life.
was like 10. There were like
oh.
10 or 12 of them.
Yeah, like the big 6 ladder like regulars were all there.
Yeah.
I forget
That's
some of their
so
names,
good.
but they were all there.
They
And,
were
like,
all so funny. There's one old guy that was not so funny.
He closed, but yeah, like I shit you not. It's one of those, and I'd actually never been to a comedy show before, and I listened to Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino every week, and there's so much anticipation, and I was worried that like it was expensive-ish, and I was sort of like worried that you guys wouldn't enjoy it. But from the moment I sat down, I was pissing myself for 4 hours. I didn't stop.
The acts themselves were really funny, but I think Henry's laughing was the funniest thing of all.
Dude,
He just like
it was just like, honestly, the one thing you got to do is go to the comedy
You were
store.
doing
If I
your-
lived there, I'd go weekly.
you were doing
Like,
your minion laugh.
Yeah, but no, Bobby Lee was incredible. We got someone to touch his pubes, which is one
Yeah.
of his infamous
The
moves.
funny
Leave the
thing
cock
is,
out
there were
with
actually
pubes.
2 OnlyFans girls front row, and they kept sort of getting picked on. Henry was
Copped
like,
it.
"No," he was like, "They copped it." I'm like, "I would have fucking loved that. That was
Yeah.
funny as fuck. Like, I wish I'd been at the front."
But like from a bloke's perspective in the crowd, they copped it. Like
they didn't
can
though
you
at
imagine
all.
a comedian? Well, just like sex jokes and stuff, and like tits
Yeah,
out.
it
and
was
what they were wearing,
hilarious.
and-
I'm
yeah,
like,
it was
if-
funny, but like they copped it.
Yeah, in the best way.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It depends how you look at it. But from a,
They're OnlyFans
we'll
girls.
talk about
do you
this
think-
later. We'll talk about this later, okay? First fight on camera. But no, best experience of my life. Thank you so much for taking me. It
and
was
then
the best.
we went to Universal during the day that day, had a great time, went and saw Harry Potter World.
Sick.
Henry got a Voldemort wand, which he threw the case out. I'm still mad at you about that. It comes in like a case, so now it's not a collectible item, it's just
Well, I've
a
got
stick.
two other ones which I'm thinking about putting in a frame.
No, you've
though,
got
and
one
putting
other one because one of them's mine.
Well, so what's yours is mine and ours. What the fuck happened to that? Well, now we're separating wands. You think you
When
know
that starts happening, that's when
We're separating the wands.
You think you know a guy. Like when we get a divorce, when and if, no, I'm joking. It's like who keeps the wands at this point? Anyway, so I got the Voldemort one just because it looked coolest.
Yeah.
Some of them sort of morphed into one, but we went full autism mode at
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
we did.
Like butterbeer, fucking just everything. It
Went
was
into the
sick.
Zonko's joke shop. Went on
Oh,
all the
cool.
rides.
It was unreal.
It was really cool.
Yep.
And then then we went out for dinner with Ryan. So we had that day. And then Sunday was the engagement.
Yeah.
We had the engagement. That was all great. And then we had all these plans for the last 4 days of our trip, which I was so looking forward to. We're going to go have this sunset dinner at Nobu. We had this day planned in Santa Monica. And I think we had Disneyland as well. But we woke up the day after the engagement and I was still sick. I had a cold. But Rach and Henry were deathly ill.
Yeah, it was fucked.
Couldn't speak. I've never seen anything like it. So unfortunately for the last 4 days of our trip, they were really sick.
Yeah.
But Rach pulled her shit
that's
together
enough, yeah.
and went to Disneyland. We hired a car as well, and I drove on the other side of the road all the way to Disneyland, which was an hour. So I was pretty impressed with myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Henry basically was just in bed for the last 4 days.
I know. You get engaged to someone, then you get deathly ill.
I know. Well, take that as a sign.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, it was. I think we still managed to have a bit of fun those last 4 days, and getting a car and driving on the other side of the road was. Nostalgic.
It was really cool. And we had this great Airbnb in LA that was a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house or townhouse in West Hollywood. It was perfect. I actually miss it so much.
Yeah, and we cooked meals there and stuff.
We cooked 2 meals.
Yeah, well, still, but it was like home.
It was like home. Yeah,
it's what it would feel like to have a share house in LA.
Yeah,
so
it was very cool.
experience.
But yeah, Disneyland was really, really cool. I wish Henry could have made it. But I will say, once you go to Disney World in Florida and Universal in Florida, when you go to the ones in LA, biggest disappointment ever. I was so upset. I forgot how shit the Disneyland in LA was. And I had never been to Universal LA before. And I was like, where are all the roller coasters? There's none.
Yeah. It was still good though.
It was still fun. But yeah, that's
For
just
someone that hasn't done that. So.
don't go to the ones in LA, go to Orlando.
Yeah. And then flew back.
Yeah, well, let's talk about our whirlwind, our wild trip back. So
I didn't get that pissed.
okay, so wait, this
On
is
the
so
plane.
funny. So we have a flight from LA to Auckland, Auckland to Gold Coast, sorry. And we're on the first flight, and Henry and I realized that we didn't have any sleeping tablets. So we're like, shit, we're just going to have a few reds beforehand in the lounge or whatever and on the plane. Get a little bit tipsy, fall asleep. So we did that. Get on the plane, probably have 4 glasses of red in the first 2 hours.
You're telling the story.
Yeah, I am telling you.
As in, yeah, I remember. I wasn't that pissed though, but I don't remember a thing. I actually don't remember shit. Nah. I don't remember
can I tell you something so funny?
From that
You
flight.
told me the nicest things you've ever said to me your whole life in that flight. You said the nicest thing, and now
Exit.
you're telling
Stage
me.
exit. Where the fuck is it? Fire exit. Yeah, I remember those. I'm just saying the whole.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, duh. Dude, am I getting slammed with this podcast? This is unreal.
Anyway, I'm on my period.
Fair enough.
No, so yeah, then the air hostess, I go to the toilet, the air hostess taps me on the shoulder and she goes, just so you know, we're not serving him any more alcohol. And I was like,
Buzzkill.
that's okay, because we're not drinking anymore anyway, we're about to go to sleep. And she's like, okay. And then we're lying down, we're just chatting, we're on this sky couch thing, so we've got a whole row to ourselves, just chatting. And then we had 6 different air hostesses come over and be like, excuse me, we've had people complain. Can you please keep your voice down,
Yeah,
sir?
we had Karens around us everywhere. It sucked.
Yeah, so yes, he was talking a little bit loudly, but he didn't seem pissed at all. He wasn't doing anything. So anyway, we land in Auckland. We're there for an hour. We go to board the next flight. And because I booked my ticket separate to Rach and Henry's, I go through, I'm all good. They go through, big red screen. Can't get on the plane. We're what's going on? They don't tell us anything for 10 minutes. The plane's closing in 5 minutes.
3 Asian guys were running that. I mean, that's fine. But did you find that interesting? We're in Auckland, about to get from a flight from. And there was 3 Chinese guys that had very strong Chinese accents.
And
that were running
business
that
suits.
gate.
They had like
So I'm
business
like,
suits on. I was like, is this
awkward.
what's going on? Anyway, they didn't tell us anything for ages. And then eventually they're like, right, so we've been notified that you were very intoxicated on the last flight.
Language barrier there, I think. So I'm like, sorry.
Well, yeah, anyway, and they're like, so we're going to have to go ask the new air hostesses if it's okay if you board the flight. And
Who,
if
thank God, was the most flamboyantly beautiful man ever.
yeah, so anyway, he left, and I'm
Oh.
thinking, fuck, I'm literally leaving this guy here if he doesn't get on the plane. Anyway, they come back and they're like, yep, all good, you can come on. We board the
can't
plane.
drink.
And then straight away they bring us like 3 cups of water. Keep in mind, it had been 12 hours since we'd had a drink at this point. Like
Yeah, it's
our flight
ridiculous.
was 8, like it was so long. And then they're like, we'll have a chat to you in a second, sir. And
Yeah.
like give him like a blanket and stuff and act like he's
Dude,
like
it
this
was
absolute.
fucked.
And he
I'm
was
like,
so
To be
rude.
fair, you just said like 5 minutes ago you didn't remember this.
Yeah, but like I'm not a nasty drunk. You know what I mean?
He wasn't
Like,
doing anything. Like, I was so. I mean, I
I
wasn't
get
so.
cheeky,
I
but
remember
I'm not
it
like
all.
going to be abusive to anyone ever.
No, he never. All he was doing was talking too loudly.
Yeah, in
and
a
every
fight
time
where it
I'd
was
tell
the
him
same
like,
problem.
keep your voice down, whatever.
Yeah.
But like he didn't do anything bad at all.
But I actually felt really embarrassed. I'm like, really? Like, and again, 12 hours I hadn't had a drink. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, and obviously if it didn't work out, I would have been really sad. Felt like it's an expensive flight, and thank God we got on it. But yeah, waters, blanket, and felt like a 2-year-old. So, fuck.
Anyway, then we land in Gold Coast.
So good to travel with. Hey,
Yeah.
fuck.
Never happening again.
Never again.
Anyway, then we arrive in Gold Coast and we go through like the little passport scanner. My passport doesn't work, so I have to go through the separate thing. Henry's the first one through. Lady points at him, like pulls him aside, starts talking to him, like grilling him for like 5 minutes, which was like really intense.
Which was a recurring theme throughout the whole trip, by the way. Every country I got
Yeah.
into, I was that guy. And I nearly didn't get into LA from Australia.
Yeah.
Because he was like, how much money have you got in your account? Like all these questions. Annie had all the itinerary. They wanted to know where I was staying.
He's like, I've got no idea.
I was like, I would have looked like a criminal. I would have been like,
Yeah.
I'm meant to be here. There's a friend. And he was like, okay, man, like, just next time, fuck, have some idea of what you're doing in this country. But
thing is,
then
he
I was
did
like,
have it.
I'm not coming in to this country. I'm actually going to Cancun
Yeah.
right now.
Like-
and then he's like, oh, why didn't you start with that? I'm like, the fuck? Like, you've got all my paperwork there. Whose fault? Anyway, fuck.
Anyway, so yeah, so
nightmare.
that happens, and then I'm like, "What was she talking about?" He's like, "Oh, it's just grilling me like for 5 minutes." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Go through to get our bags. I'm like, at this point, because the media had been like crazy, I was really scared about paparazzi being there when we walked out, and I looked like shit. So I was like putting my cap on, was looking at myself in my like little camera, and then one of the border people come over to me, and she's like, "Did you just take a photo?" And I was like, a photo? What the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, oh, you had your phone up like you're taking a photo. And I was like, oh, I was just checking to see what my hair looked like. And then she's like, well, just so you know, like you can't do that here. I'm like, okay, sorry for breathing. And then we go through, what's it called? Like quarantine?
Yeah, there's
or
like 3 different stages
customs?
to get into the country.
Yeah.
basically, like.
So then like the last bit before you're like, okay, you're gone now, you're through. They pulled us aside and like into a separate room and were like grilling us and asking us about my ring and like how much was it and like all this stuff. And like went through our bags and we were there for like 2 hours in that room.
It never happened to me before.
Never,
And
it's never, ever, ever, ever happened to me
I'd
before.
spoken to mum and she was like, that's the most wild story I've ever heard. Never heard of that happening.
Yeah.
again. So yeah, it was just a pretty crazy
we looked like
experience.
the most like normal, like 3 Australians arriving. And to be fair, like not to be rude or anything, but they usually do let like Aussies
Yeah.
through.
No, it was actually pretty wild.
So it
to
was
be
really-
honest.
it
I
was
really
very
taken
strange.
aback, and we're there for like an hour and a half, and a lot of pressing questions. They need to do that. I
Yeah.
guess. So there's no qualms there. Good on you, Border Patrol Australia. But it was just a lot, and obviously 20 hours of travel would just get us home.
it was so
I was meant to go to Melbourne 4 hours later, cancelled that flight. Thank
Yeah.
God. We went to doctors and got amoxicillin and shit.
You
And
did.
I feel good.
yeah.
You don't. Sucked in.
Yeah. Well, I've got my period again. So
Yeah. But yeah, just crazy.
anyway, yeah. So that was a wild trip. Oh, and then we arrive home and Rach is quickly getting ready for a wedding that she's got. And I'm opening my wardrobe and realize that my rail has fallen down from like the weight of my clothes. So I went to pick it up and sliced my finger open. Was bleeding for like an hour, and then 2 days later it got infected. So then I was dealing with that. I was like, can it just stop? And then there was a cleaner at our house that when we arrived, because the insurance company had sent like a cleaner out, which update, house is all good now. They've fixed everything. The painter just finished today and it's looking good as new.
Yeah.
So that's one positive.
Yeah, honestly, the positives only have just started to stack up. Like there was a rough run there. From
There
like,
was.
From
That-
the moment we left, USA, and then come back at the flight, and like the border patrol thing, the media, it was just a real rough week, unfortunately, in the time that's meant to be like what I suppose is the honeymoon phase of the engagement period.
Yes.
And so got the wind out of our sails, but
we had that nice flight that you don't remember where you said really nice.
I remember everything. Dude, at least you know, what do they say? This is the funny thing with chicks, right? So when you're on the piss.
I like how you're looking at me.
Yeah, well, there's only one other guy here. So it's like the truth comes out when you're drunk if you say something bad, right? They're like, oh, do you remember what you said last night? But if you say something good, they're like, you were drunk. And it doesn't mean shit. It's like.
Hang on, I never said it didn't mean shit.
Damned if you do.
I do. I
I
believe everything you said. I just was like, oh, it sucks that he doesn't remember.
Drunk Henry, legend, obviously. Sober Henry doesn't want to sleep in the same bed as you. Like, I can be lightly buzzed
I don't want you in my bed anyway.
I can be lightly pissed for the rest of my life. If you're giving me the green light for that, I could do that for you. That'd be sick. But anyway, yeah, it was a saga. It was sick. Obviously, engaged to be wed. So unreal.
So stay tuned.
So every bad thing that happened, it was undone.
Yeah, no, that's not true. There were many conversations we had and this is like 10 years in the making. This didn't just happen.
Sorry, no, I'm saying all my bad actions are undone because I gave you a ring.
No, that's not. We spoke about them separately.
Yeah.
I want to give anyone any ideas.
No, it was beautiful. And thank you for the trip. It was all on Annie. So it was a beautiful time, and
I did just want to end on a few questions we have from our followers, or my followers.
God.
Okay, so the first one is, do you see yourself living in GC or Melb?
Gold Coast.
Yeah, Gold Coast.
In a perfect world, if we won Lotto, or we both worked a bit harder.
Speak for yourself.
Dude, there's a fucking flood in the middle of the desert. I can't help that. I would love to have an apartment in Melbourne one day, just because we go there a lot.
The thing is about Melbourne, because I've always wanted to have like a property there that I could go to, but the land tax there,
ridiculous. It's
insane.
But but in a perfect world, yes, but no, Goldie is where we're at.
Yeah.
Tweed.
Were you surprised or know the engagement was on the cards? So obviously knew it was on the cards because he told me a couple nights beforehand that he was thinking about it, but that it was going to be after Vietnam in May. So wasn't expecting it that night. So was very surprised. Did Henry have it in mind that he was going to propose overseas, or did it just feel right? I feel like he kind of answered that.
Felt right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and what happened to that narrative? It's like people have forgotten about that too. Like,
what?
Well, it's like there's movies about this. Like when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Like, what happened
it's
to
funny,
that?
Yeah.
Like, that's a beautiful love story back in the day. And now it's like if you're not a childhood sweetheart from fucking school all the way through to like, if it's not generic, it's not a real thing. It's
it is weird.
Gone are the days of spontaneity.
Yeah.
I say, like, fuck.
And it's like it's not like we got married right then and there.
Just so you know, so it's normal. So everyone's okay with it. Like, hey, it's been long enough now. We'll get married again. We'll have 2 weddings for you guys. Fuck.
Was Karen in on it, and how did Henry ask Rachel for help with the ring/secret?
Karen had no idea.
Yeah.
Karen being Annie's mother, she be the mother's cat. What's that fucking thing? She mother cat.
Whatever.
Yeah, got it. And then the ring, literally nearest ring shop. And then Rach was like, let's sit down and have a look at these ring shops. And then went to quite a good one, which is a bit of a drive away, and had to get Annie out of the equation.
There was a shopping centre nearby, so I was just chilling.
Kicked her out. And so, it all worked out really well.
Why did Henry propose so quickly? Kind of
We've gone through that.
When are you getting married? Second half of next year. Why didn't Henry go for a traditional woman without baggage?
I mean, what woman doesn't come with baggage, firstly? Sorry, everyone. Like, fucking shock. But everyone. And that's men as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if that should be
every single person has got baggage, and everyone else's shit is their shit. So, like, if you guys knew the story in depth, like we do, I've actually got a fuckload more baggage than Annie does that we've been dealing with for years behind the scenes. So it's all well and good to say that and put it on Annie, but it's absolutely not true. It's 50-50, if not way more my end. So it's not even a question that's worth talking about. It annoys me.
Do you guys plan on having kids?
Well, you've got cancer. You've got terminal. She cut her finger open, looked it up online.
No, that's not what happened.
And she was like, I've got terminal cancer.
I got my period.
So I'd love to have kids.
I got my period.
It's the first time we've touched in 3 days. Do we do it again? Felt so weird.
Don't touch me.
Let's talk about it later.
I got my period 3 times in a month, and then I was like having a breakdown, actually in the car on the way here to Henry, being like, I'm so stressed. I'm just so stressed. Like, what if I'm dying? It's cancer. It's gonna be cancer.
Yeah, and I'm like, these seems like things that are out of our control until you go to an appointment.
Yeah, but I'm like, I was stressing out because I've got pain in one side, and I was like, I've got an ectopic pregnancy, my tube's gonna explode, and then I went like down a spiral.
Oh, sorry, this was a kid's question. Yeah,
Yes.
so yeah, would love to. If she doesn't die of one of these, the list of illnesses are this long, and once we eliminate all of them,
Sometimes I'm like, what do you
and
think is
everything's all
going on?
good, then we'll have kids. And you can't have kids spontaneously. Like, I won't say that she's pregnant, and then the kid will come 4 days later. Like, you know, like the surprise engagement. That will be generic. Like, that takes 9 months. Everyone takes 9 months. You can't get angry at me for that. Unless they've got super sperm, which shits out a baby like in 4 months, which will probably happen. And then the headline will be like, Brayshaw has the quickest kid ever. Like, shocks of the world. Oh, God.
Anyway.
Fucking funny.
Does this mean Annie will be slowing down on her work, her challenges and work? No, I'm still going to be finishing my challenge and doing work, and yeah, I'm excited for everything I've got planned. Like I said, going away in July, August, doing the party places, bringing some people with me, a few assistants, I think my publicist, and also another content creator, I think. I don't want to say who yet just in case because it's not logged in, but yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be really fun. So no slowing down. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. Don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, etc. Let me know if there's any guests you want me to have on the pod. Thank you, Henry, for joining us again today.
Thanks, Annie, for letting me come onto your show.
I'm sure.
Our show now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll be
Everything.
back on another episode very soon.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to make him a bit of a regular guest because everyone seems to love his episode. So
Everyone seems to love me.
Yeah,
well,
wow.
no.
Not after
Not,
this.
not after this episode.
This is not good for you.
Not prior to this in the media. Feel free to say anything nice as well.
yeah, yeah.
I'll speak from now on. I would love if you guys have got anything nice to say about spontaneous relationships, marriage, with a best friend, which is a great story. Feel free to message me about it. I would love to hear something positive. It's so nice to hear that the world is so supportive.
Anyway, we'll see you next week.
I'll see you tonight, tomorrow, every day of the rest of my fucking life. For better or for worse, sickness and health, terminal illness or whatever. Okay, I'm out. No worries.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Update on Annie Knight.
So I've seen online that someone by the name of Annie Knight are coming to the Gold Coast for schooling.
And Annie Knight are getting deported from Fiji.
Unhinged.
So unhinged.
Hey guys, they were talking about Annie Knight, who has been labeled Australia's most promiscuous woman.
This shit unhinged?